The Christ letters, narration and text. Letter 1.4. Urgent need for a higher vision. It must be widely accepted there is a higher vision to strive to implement in your daily lives. It is only by reaching for a higher vision that the physical world will be rescued from wholesale annihilation. Without the vision either for the self or for the world, there can be no spiritual evolution or the achievement of those things greatly desired. At the present time, your perception of life is one of travail and deprivation. These beliefs are shockingly depicted and reinforced by your TV viewing. They later bring upon you the misery you hope will never happen to you. Therefore, to save you from your own folly expressed through the media and TV, the human consciousness must be speedily uplifted to see what I saw in the desert. The reality of love, behind and within all existence. Note: when this great truth is both perceived and warmly acknowledged, the reality of love will begin to manifest itself in multiple ways in every living thing and in the environment itself. The experience of abundance and joy will reinforce the consciousness of abundance and joy. And so a spiritual spiral of ever more exalted and wondrous living will be set in motion. When the true nature of being is fully understood, humanity will move on to the next rung of spiritual evolution and will put into motion a new and blessed form of human endeavor and personal experience. To achieve these goals, humanity must first gain insight into what and who you are. A new and important question is already coming into people's consciousness. Who are you, really, behind the facade you present to the world? What does it take to be real? It is this question of who you really are which is answered on every level of your being within these pages. And if you can accept as your own guidelines for daily living all that I understood during my 6 weeks desert experience, you too will eventually become whole and real, even as I became whole and real before I commenced my ministry of healing and teaching. Since there are few people in the world who would regard themselves as whole at this present time, you must surely recognize that there is the most urgent necessity for me to intrude into your minds, to lead you into a new way of thought and feeling. Such a change in consciousness will bring you into divine harmony with reality and better living conditions and security. To be able to do this work of reconstruction within your consciousness, I must first impress on your minds, and you must accept, there was much that I taught in Palestine which men were not yet ready to receive. Significantly, it has never been publicly questioned why there is no record of my early life as a young man. What was the true reason for such an all-important omission? Equally significantly, although I spent 6 weeks in the desert after my baptism and emerged from that experience as a teacher and healer, Not one writer has even attempted to describe what actually took place during that time, other than that I was tempted of the devil, and was with the wild beasts, and the angels were with him. There is not the slightest hint as to what happened to me in the desert, which would enable me to come back to towns and villages, proclaiming, "The kingdom of God is within," and to speak in the synagogues with such authority that the Jewish elders were astonished. The truth regarding my human state was, by common consent of my disciples, suppressed, to give greater credence to my supposed divinity and ministry. According to the Gospels, it was said of me that I was the only Son of God. Why then did I frequently refer to myself as the Son of Man? I specifically made these statements to counteract the prevalent beliefs in my divinity, and to impress on people's minds that I was of the same physical origins as themselves. I intended them to understand that what I could do, they could also do, if they only had my knowledge and followed my instructions for right thinking and right action. So many myths have arisen around my earthly person and my spiritual consciousness, that it is time to be rid of them as completely as possible, since they are preventing people from evolving spiritually. You who have been indoctrinated with religious teachings must try to understand that when describing my life, my disciple gospelers related only what they personally remembered, which fully supported their account of my supernatural activities. They also included much that had been spoken of me by others during the 30-odd years following my death. After such a lapse of time and inevitable embroidery of truth, how could they possibly write an authoritative biography of me and of what really happened, or properly explain my true spiritual perceptions which gave birth to my words and miracles? Only one person can write from this standpoint, and that is myself. Therefore, these letters will bring you my truth in a way that no spectator could possibly tell it, no matter how well they thought they understood my thinking. For this reason, over 40 years, my recorder's mind has been systematically cleansed of all orthodox teachings, and the system of communication between us has been perfected. If my truth, expressed in these letters, differs from much written in your New Testament, is it to be wondered at or rejected for that reason? Therefore, I am descending in consciousness briefly, as near as necessary, to your plane of consciousness, to describe my life and teachings 2,000 years ago.